Okay, on notes 1-1, we're going to be solving linear equations. Anytime we have an equation that just has an x, that's considered a linear equation. Okay, so we're going to solve each equation, which means find your variable. So we're going to be solving for x. So on linear equations, you're trying to get x by itself. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you have multiple x's, some on one side, some on another. It doesn't really matter which side you move your x's to. So I'm going to, let's look at number 1. So notice we have variables on both sides. Again, it doesn't matter which side you move it to, but I prefer to move all of my variables to the side that will make it positive. So I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides of the equation, because whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other in order for the equation to stay equal. So that will cancel, so I'm left with 4x minus 13 equals 57. And then notice now we only have one variable, 1x. So now we're just isolating it, so we're getting it by itself. So next step would be to add 13 to both sides. So that way it cancels out. We have 4x equals 70. And then we will get rid of the 4 by dividing. So we have x equals, now anytime we have a fraction and we don't get a whole number for our answer, you need to reduce the fraction and leave it in fraction form. So 70 divided by 4, 2 will go into both of those, so that would reduce to 35 over 2. So again, just leave it in fraction form. So very basic, this should be a review from Algebra 1. Let's move over to number 2. Notice on number 2, we have parentheses, and we're not able to combine everything inside the parentheses. So we're going to use the distributive property, so which means we're going to distribute the outside term to everything on the inside of the parentheses by multiplying. So I'm going to distribute, so that's going to be 15x minus 90 equals, now make sure you don't do 30 minus 4 here. We're bringing the 30 down because we need to distribute this negative 4 here. So when I distribute that, that's minus 24x. And then pay close attention here. Always look at the sign in front of each number, because that would, when you multiply, gives you positive 36. All right, so after we distribute, we need to combine like terms. So I'm going to look at the left side. Notice we don't have any like terms, which means same variable, same exponent. If you look at the right side, notice we're able to combine 30 and 36. So I'm just going to rewrite that left side. And then I'm going to have negative 24x plus 66. And again, always look at the sign in front of each term. All right, now we're back to where we were on number 1 at the beginning. We have variables on both sides, so again, it doesn't matter which side you move your variable to. So I'm going to add 24x. So adding that, we get 39x minus 90 equals 66. We're going to isolate the x, so get it by itself by adding 90 to both sides. And we have 39x equals 156. To get rid of 39, divide. So we should get x equals, now this one actually gives you a whole number, 156 divided by 39 equals 4. Anytime you're solving an equation, to check it and make sure that your answer is correct, you can always plug that number in that you get for the variable back in for that variable into your original equation and make sure that left side equals the right side. So you can always check your answer. Let's move to number 3. Notice on this one we also have parentheses like number 2, so we're going to distribute. So we get 4x minus 12 equals -18. Again, pay close attention to your signs in front of each term because that would give me a positive 16x. Now look and see if you have any like terms on left side and right side. So left side, we don't have anything that we can combine. Right side, we don't have anything. So now we're going to go straight into moving our variables to one side. So I'm going to subtract 4x, but again, it doesn't matter which side you move to. So I'm bringing down that -12 equals -18 plus 12x. And then I'll isolate x, get it by itself, add 18. We get 6 equals 12x. Now, there are a lot of students that make a mistake here. They put the answer to be 2. They divide by 6 on both sides and they get 2. But we want to isolate x, which means we want to get rid of the 12. So we're dividing by 12 on both sides. So a smaller number is on top, which means we should end up with a fraction here. We reduce it to 1/2. So again, if it's not a whole number, make sure you reduce it, leave it as a fraction. All right, moving on to number 4. Notice this time we don't have parentheses. Also notice that we only have one x. We don't have x's on both sides. So we're going straight into isolating x, which means get it by itself. So my first step is going to be to add 6 first. So we get 4/5 x equals 20. Now I need to get rid of the 4/5. You can break this into 2 different steps, or you can do it all at once. I like to do it all at once, but I'll show you all at once and then I'll show you the 2 different steps. So I'm going to get rid of that fraction by multiplying by the reciprocal, which means flipping the fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 5/4. So notice those will cancel and those will cancel, which is what we wanted. We get x. And then you can reduce or go straight into multiplying the tops and the bottoms. It doesn't really matter. But I notice 4 will go into 20 5 times. So 5 times 5 would equal 25. Okay, so I'm just going to write this here in case you want to look at it in 2 different steps. If it makes sense that way, you're more than welcome to do it that way. So if you want to break into 2, we could get rid of the 5 by multiplying it on both sides, which leaves me with 4x equals 100. And then divide by 4, which would give you x equals 25. Same answer. So to get rid of that fraction, you can break it into 2 steps. Multiply by the denominator, divide by the numerator, or multiply by the reciprocal, which is flipping the fraction there. Okay, so front, solving linear equations. To check it, just plug that number in back into your variable, into your original equation, and then make sure that it's true. Now let's look at the back. We're going to do some unit analysis, so unit conversions. You will also use this in chemistry. All right, so some of these are really easy, and some of these you can just do in your head. But once we get to multiple step ones, you're going to need to set up a ratio, which a ratio is a fraction. Okay, so it'll help you to solve the more difficult ones if you set up your ratios. So it says on number 5, on word problems, I like to underline and circle what I'm trying to find. So it says you work 4 hours and earn $36. What is your earning rate? This one's pretty simple. We're working 4 hours, we're earning $36. We want to know the earning rate, which is how much you're earning per hour. So all we have to do here is take the $36 divided by those 4 hours. 36 divided by 4, which gives us 9. So our answer would be $9 per hour. Pretty simple on that one. Okay, next one, you travel 2.5 hours at 50 miles per hour. How far did you go? All right, on these word problems, anytime it says per, I want you to set up a ratio so it's like dividing there. So I'm going to go ahead and set up 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to set up a ratio, so divided by 1 hour because it says per hour. Then anytime we're setting up ratios here, we're going to be multiplying them all together. We want our units to cancel, so that way we're able to solve for the other unit. So I'm also given that we're traveling for 2.5 hours. So if I have hours in the denominator here, that means I want hours in the numerator here in order for the hours to cancel, because anytime you're canceling out, you're canceling across. So I would need to put the 2.5 hours at the top. So you might think this one is pretty simple too. 2.5 times 50 should give you your answer. Okay, but again, once we get to the more difficult ones, you're going to want to set up ratios and see where your units cancel out. So notice these hours cancel. We multiply 50 times 2.5, which would be 125. And then there's our units, whatever is left. So miles, which is what we were trying to find. How far did you go? So 125 miles. All right, let's look at 7. You drive 45 miles per hour. What is your speed in feet per second? So we're having to go from miles to feet, but also hours to seconds. So this is a multi-step problem here. That's why it's important that you set up your ratios and then see where the units are going to cancel out. So remember when I said that when there's a per, you're going to divide it, set up a ratio. 45 miles per hour, so divided by 1 hour. And then all your other ratios, you're going to be multiplying them together. So go ahead and put a multiplication sign and then draw your next ratio. Now, on these problems, when you have multiple steps, it doesn't matter if you change your miles to speed first or to feet first or hours to seconds. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go start out with the miles. I want to go from miles to feet. It's easier if you set up your units, your words first, okay? So we know we want to get rid of miles, change it to feet. So if I have miles on top here, that means I would need it on bottom here for it to cancel. I'm going from miles to feet. That's what your ratio needs to be, miles in comparison to feet. All right, so we need to figure out what type of numbers we need to put in this ratio. So we're looking at comparison between the number of feet that's in 1 mile. So if you look on your formula chart, you should see that there are 5,280 feet for every 1 mile. So set up your units, and then you should be able to figure out what numbers need to go where. Notice your miles cancel out on the units, and you're left with feet, which is what you wanted. But if you notice in the bottom, in the denominator, you have hours, but we want feet per second, not feet per hour. So I'm going to set up another ratio. I'm wanting to get rid of hours and go to seconds. So since hours is in the denominator, I want it to be in the numerator on that last ratio so it will cancel. I'm going from hours to seconds, or you can go from hours to minutes and then minutes to seconds. It's just more work for you if you do it in multiple steps. All right, so we need to compare number of seconds that's in 1 hour. So we know there's 30 seconds in 1 minute, and 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we would need to multiply those. So there's 3,600 seconds for every 1 hour. So notice here our hours cancel out, and then we are left with seconds in the denominator. All right, now we need to work it out. Anytime you're multiplying ratios or fractions, you're multiplying the tops together and multiplying the bottoms or denominators together. So I'm multiplying straight across. So I'm going to do 45 times 5,280. And then I need to divide it by the 3,600. So 45 times 5,280 divided by 3,600. You should get 66. Now look at your units on top. On top there's feet. And then in the denominator, we're left with seconds. Notice that's what we were wanting to find, feet per second. All right, now I realize on some of these, you can go straight and find the answer. Some of them, not so much. So you need to go ahead and set up a ratio. That way you're able to see what units are canceling, and then you can get your final answer at the end. Okay, so now let's look at 8. We're going to convert 132 miles to kilometers, or kilometers, whichever you want to say it. So I'm starting with 132 miles. I'm going to go ahead and set up a ratio. We need for the miles to cancel, which means we would need the miles to be in the denominator. And we're going to kilometers. So you need to know how many kilometers is in every mile. You can write this on your formula chart. There are 1.609 kilometers for every 1 mile. So notice your miles cancel out. They're across from each other. Now this one we're going to get a decimal, so we can just put an approximate sign there. We're doing 132 times 1.609, and you should get 212.39. Let's round to the nearest hundredths place. And that would be kilometers. That's what's left. So again, you don't always have to set up a ratio because it's pretty simple, but sometimes you're going to want to when you get to the multi-step problems. All right, last one. We're going to convert 253 kilometers to miles. So 253, make sure you label. And then set up your ratio. So I know kilometers is on top. So in order to cancel it, it would have to go on bottom. And we're going from kilometers to miles. Now, a lot of students get confused at where they need to put their numbers. If you write the words first, that should help you. There are not 1.609 miles for every 1 kilometer. So what you need to do, look back up at the top. That's how you need to set it up. So for every 1 mile, there is 1.609 kilometers. Which means in order to solve this one, that would just give you 253 on top. You would have to divide it by the 1.609. Again, we're going to have to round. That should give you 157.24. Your kilometers cancels. You're left with miles. Okay, so we have solving linear equations and then also unit analysis where you're converting your units.